Hi, this is Dave, Fell Running Guide. Welcome to this week's navigation task. This week I want you to identify the feature that I've circled on this photograph, and I also want you to work out the elevation, so the height above sea level of that feature, and then do the same for the photo location. So where was the photograph taken from and what elevation was I stood at when I took the photo. The map this week is the Harvey's Superwalker 1 to 25,000 of the Dark Peak, and I've got a licensing agreement with Harvey's to use their maps for these tasks. So let's have a closer look at that photograph. What can we see? Well, we've got an obvious stream that's draining down towards us, comes down and swings off to the right as we look there. Looks like there's another stream coming and draining from the left there as we look, possibly a Y junction in the stream just down below us. And we've got this really notable, obvious band of crags either side of that stream, going round, getting very close at that point there. And then if we were to go uphill, the stream bends off to the left, and it looks like it's disappearing or coming from up and left there. Up to the right we've got some high ground. To the left between these two streams here is flatter ground, and we're stood, the photo is taken just above some very steep ground, dropping down into that stream. So is any of that obvious on the map? Well, I think a good place to start is to try and identify those crags, because on Harvey maps they show crags really clearly. So that's these little symbols here, the black line with the little dashes below it. So all these here are crag features. So we were looking for crags either side of a stream, steep-sided valley. Well, we've got two there, but there's two streams in there, so we can't be looking at those crags. What about these here? That makes more sense, doesn't it, that these two crags either side of that stream, very close together there, which would mean that we were looking from over here somewhere, looking upstream, and there's that Y that I mentioned with that stream coming down. We couldn't see this stream, but it looked from the shape of the ground, it was likely to be there. And then if we were to go upstream, stream kinks to the left and then more gradually up to the left. There's some high ground up and to the right, and there's flat ground between these two streams. So that's not too difficult, but I also wanted to know the elevation, how high above sea level was the feature. Well, what we need to know to answer that is that on Harvey maps, the contours go up in intervals of 15 metres. So if you're used to Ordnance Survey maps where they go up in tens often, then you need to know that they go up in 15s. So there to there is 15 more, 15 more, 15 more. So imagine if we started at sea level at 0 and we went up in 15s. The fifth 15 that we got to would be 75 metres. And you will notice, just like on Ordnance Survey maps, that every fifth contour is a bolder, thicker contour. See that one there, and then that one there. So these are called index contours. So those go up in increments of 75. So the first one above sea level would be 75. The next one will be 150. The next one 225, the next one 300, etc., etc. I can show you that on a map. So here we've got another section of the Harvey map, and you can see the index contours values here. Obviously it doesn't go down to sea level, but if we're going uphill from top left, northwest, first one 225, 300, 375, 450, 525, etc. So if we go back to our map, have we got any contour values? Well, we've got a spot height here, look, 499 metres. That was that high ground that we could see to the right in the photograph. So if we're coming downhill from that and we get to the first index contour below it, that has got to be the 450 meter contour. We've just shown that on that other map. So that's got to be 450. And then the next one down has got to be 15 meters below that, which has got to be 435. So if I just zoom in a bit. So the point that we were looking was pretty much level with the height of those crags. So in there, so we'll call that somewhere between, well, above the 435 contour and the 450 meter contour. So I'll give you a bit of leeway, but in that point there, that's the 450, and the one underneath the crags is the 435. Okay, so what about the place where the photo was taken from? Well, on that photograph, you'll notice that it looks like I'm slightly higher than those crags. So looking down on them slightly, but I'm still on a slope. So I was actually on what you call the break of slope, which is the point where it goes from flat to dropping away more steeply. So that's that point there. So again, we know if this is the 450 meter contour, we've already decided that, then the next one up is 15 meters higher, which gives us 465 meters. So I've put an arrow on the map. The tail of the arrow is where I was stood when I took the photo, and the circle shows that feature. So not too difficult to identify them this week, I don't think. Just a bit more tricky if you don't realise that the Harvey maps use 15 metre intervals on their contours. But anyway, I hope you learnt something, or hope you knew the answer. Thanks for watching. Look out for next week's navigation task. Bye for now.